Is our phone has been good, but your grandkids would rather talk to you. They would rather, because we have emotions, it's so important that we have that connection. And when we're with our residents, talking to them, it gives us this aliveness that's inside of us. Technology has separated us. George and I talk because there's emotion in talking. There's emotion in having a conversation. I like to say my conversations are like ping pong. I like to ask a question and then go back and forth. Because when you go back and forth like ping pong, it's a more engaging conversation, which allows us to connect with people at a deeper level. So we're always pushed into consumption of social media, TV. The average person watches 4 hours of TV a day and 2 hours of social media. So that's 6 hours we're consuming media, where I'll talk to a friend and they'll go, I haven't had time to call my mom today. But they've had time to watch TV for a couple hours. So it's just prioritizing our connections, prioritizing people, being around people. And having y'all here is special. I mean, if I was speaking to empty seats, it wouldn't be the same. But having y'all here and being a part of learning your name, being with you, it gives me aliveness. So when I'm around people, I always love to engage. Now, some of you might not have to see I have two color shoes on. How many of y'all think I'm colorblind? Raise your hand. Okay, George. Anybody else? Man, that's pretty good. Most people say, what's wrong with your shoes? You colorblind? And I say, no, but I love conversations. So when people ask me about my shoes, I talk to them. So I love talking to people. I'm in the grocery store and people will say, did you mix your shoes up today? I said, well, I matched it to my shirt. And then I'll have a conversation with them, talk with them. Hey, sir, how are you doing? We have free seats in the front. Okay, we're not charging anything for the front seats. $10 in the back, but not in the front. So I do this. I've done this. I had a stroke almost 4 years ago, and I wore it by accident because I had a what they call is a brace on my foot, and then I had a cane with four little, sturdy to hold me up. And so I didn't change it out. So I kept the one color on. But what I found was people would talk to me. Because what I found is when I had a cane and I was kind of walking, nobody would talk to me. Because I don't know why, but they wouldn't. But when I started two color shoes, they always would ask me questions. So I kept it. I don't have my brace on anymore, and I don't walk with a cane, but I kept two color shoes so I could have meaningful conversations with people. When I was at my 50th high school reunion, all of my friends were retired, probably 80%. And one of my classmates, I flunked high school English. That was my primary language. So I'm not an academic scholar. I failed 2 times at Virginia Tech. So I realized, man, I don't think I'm academically ready for that. So I loved people. I always wanted to be around people. So I'm at my 50th high school reunion, and one of my friends, he retired twice, came out of retirement because he was bored. He joined the Rotary so he could serve and do something different, because the third is meaningful purpose. The Bible says a person or man without vision perishes. If we don't have vision of what we're doing, we won't get out of bed. We want to have whatever it is, be with the grandkids, have a conversation with Bobby, talking to people, going to dinner and having that conversation with our friends, inviting our kids over. I heard when I was at Overture, if I heard it once, I heard it 100 times. I don't want to bother my kids. They're busy. And I said, they want to be with you. That's you saying that, not them. They want to be with you. So, I tried to tell them and tried to share with them. They love being around you. But we have to kind of in our mind think that, we have so much wisdom. Life gives us so many lessons. Our world is changing so fast, so quick. The younger generation needs y'all because they don't have life lessons like we do. We have our hair's a little grayer. We look a little different than we did when we're 25, but we have all those lessons that life teaches us. Pouring into our grandkids, pouring into our kids, allow them to learn from what we have gone through in our life. It's so valuable that we have those conversations. My mom lived till she was 95. And I went up to, she was in Richmond, Virginia. When I went up there for my high school reunion, I was in between a reunion and a wedding. So I stayed up there a couple weeks and I went over there every day, spent a couple hours with her, interviewed her on my phone, just asking her questions. I had no idea she was a pro basketball player. I knew she loved basketball, but I didn't know because I had been down here for 40 years and I didn't have that meaningful conversation. I didn't even know she was a pro basketball player, semi-pro. But those conversations that I had with her, I said, so what was it like growing up in Philly? She said, I said, so where in Philly were you born? She goes, I wasn't born in Philly. I was born in Jersey. I went, what? How come I didn't know that? I mean, I knew she's northeast, but if I don't have those conversations to ask those questions, then I'm not going to learn that. So having those conversations with your friends, your grandkids. My grandkids, I go on dates with them every month. And the conversations are so beautiful because they look to us as having wisdom because we're older. And the conversations are unfiltered. They say the funniest and the most special thing, bring you to tears when you're around them. And so, being around our grandkids, I know it's so powerful for them because they want to be around their grandparents. And having y'all involved in their life helps them to grow up in a more healthier way. So your meaningful purpose can be leaving the legacy for your kids. They know the phone better. My 3-year-old knows the phone better than I do. And so she's on there some. Now I'm always saying want to limit the screen time. But they help me. They help me figure out things on my phone. They help me see things I never would see because they're growing up in a different era than when we grew up. So look to your kids to help you with technology. Just ask them the questions. They don't know what you know until you ask them, would you share? Would you help me? Would you, show me what this Facebook stuff is? so they can pour into us, which gives them aliveness. And being able to know, man, I show grandpa how to do Instagram, and it just makes them feel good when they are doing something that helps the grandparents. Personal growth. I brought a couple books with me. Oldies but goodies. This one's on the seasons of life. And when we keep growing, we live longer. And when we always learning, our brains are wired to learn, to challenge. Having events here like this. Melissa and Erica, they want to bring y'all new information. What's going on in the podcasting world? George here, besides being head of security, is a podcaster too, and he owns a company. And the world needs people to share what's going on out there. They need y'all to be able to keep growing, because my mom lived to be 95. She had her game shows that she would always be answering the questions. She had her word puzzles. She had her bonko. She had her bridge. She had her lunch groups. She was always involved and being around people and challenging her thinking. It was just amazing to see that she was as sharp as can be because she kept her brain active, kept it, whatever it was, whether it was word search or, crossword puzzles. You have a lot of things when we get older, but I'd always ask my sisters, what does mom want? And it's like, crossword puzzle, maybe a book on crossword, because she would always get the paper and fill out the crossword puzzles, but it kept her brain active. And when your conversations with her, because she stayed so active, she was sharper than me. And our brains, George and I, we're about the same age. He's a little younger. We have so much clutter in our brain because we got so much going on. But when you can get rid of the clutter and have a clear mind, I'm going to give you a journaling course, because after my stroke, I lost my complete left side. I was 49 days in Shepherd, not moving, not eating, couldn't do anything. I was a runner. I was a golfer. I couldn't do either. So I had to think, what can I do to stay active? Because I still can't run. If you told me to run to Yaya, and I would probably get there in about 10 minutes because my speed is not what it used to be. But I transferred that into podcasting so I could speak, and I learned how to speak again. And I learned how to journal. That was my kind of like when I was running, I liked to get my thoughts, but not running, I had to think of something else. I've done over 16 full journals in my three and a half years since my stroke. I'm clearer in my thoughts because information is coming at us so much that we have to get it out. And if we just write and get our thoughts out, like, what do I want to do today? And you write it out. There's something magical. Our brain is wired with pen and paper. A lot of the college students will type. It doesn't do the brain the same thing as writing. And I was dyslexic. That's why I flunked English. So my grammar looked like shorthand. How many remember shorthand? See, if you ask somebody that's 25, they go, what are you talking about? They have no idea. And those are the kind of things we're moving And my writing looked like shorthand because I couldn't spell the words. So I didn't write any. So it was kind of like you're trapped in your own brain when you can't write. And so writing freed up my freedom to express myself. People say, well, what do you write about, Pete? I write about what I learned the day before, who I met, what the conversation was like, what my day, that day is like. I don't watch TV. I'm not on social media, but I fill up journals. I keep one with me. That brown journal over there always goes with me. If I'm in the car for 10 minutes, some people will go right to their phone and check Facebook or whatever. I go right to my journal and write. I'll say, I met an amazing woman at Del Mar Gardens, and what the conversation was like. And it's really wiring my brain to remember, and it deepens the connection. I love having conversations with people. George and I do. I mean, we're kind of like, we have to talk. We're not like texters. I mean, we text, but we have conversation. So I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to be talking to some seniors at Del Mar Gardens. Do you want to hang out afterwards? And we're up in Ackworth. So he drove all the way down here so we can hang out a little bit afterwards, have conversation. And, you know, he's not a bad guy to hang out because security. He's bigger than me. So if I get in a situation, I feel safer. And so having a community is very, very powerful for our connection. I lived in Overture, which is up in Kennesaw, and there was 130 residents, and it was independent, but the average age was a little bit north of 80. Plenty of people in their 90s, because once they got there, they didn't want to move. They got settled in, they got their friends, they got to know people, got to know the staff. And I was able to see a wonderful, just talking with them, the stories. I'd see their grandkids that would come. I would have fun chatting with them about their grandkids. Because, I have 6 girls. So when I was talking to a grandson of one of the residents, it was cool just talking to somebody that wasn't a girl. I could have a different conversation. So look after each other. We're moving into a very rapidly changing world. How many people have heard of AI? Okay. How many people have a positive impression of AI? Okay, maybe one over there. What's your name, sir? Al? Al, okay. Al, I have a friend of mine who teaches seniors technology. And so most of them we were talking yesterday, most of them that he talks with have a negative view of AI. And there's always 2 sides to anything. Are somebody going to misuse it? Yes. Can it help you do some of the details, mundane things? Yes. So I'll talk to Melissa. He comes in, he talks to seniors. He has an app about how to use technology. And he's helping our seniors really move into the technology age because it's changing fast. I didn't grow up with it. Y'all didn't grow up with it. But we have to adapt to it if we want to get the most out of what we are doing. So I'm going to give away some books. Since Al was he was the one positive one. He wins the Seasons of Life book. And I have two more. So when I ask some more questions, congratulations, Al.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. I have a gift for everybody, but it's not a physical gift. It's the gift of journaling. And we're going to make sure, I'm going to work with Melissa to make sure you get a journal and you can kind of learn the idea of how powerful it can be. It set me free from myself. We have 12 to 60,000 thoughts that go through our head. George has 60,000, I have 12,000. He has more thoughts than me. That's a guy that's always got ideas and thoughts going through his head. And some of them have more. Come on through. Okay. Anybody want any dessert? Okay. No, that's okay. We got to keep the operation going. We don't want to slow down. Okay. So, who here has ever journaled? Whoa. You say that again? Okay. Bobby, I have a gift for you. So before you go, I'm going to give you a card. All you have to do is if you don't have, that's the $10 seat way back there. Yeah. How are you doing back there? Good. We got some of the free seats up front. But no, I know you need to mind the so, okay. So Bobby wins the Dream Giver book. So, because, well, it's been proven that we think as we get older, we remember less, but it's actually not necessarily true. It's been proven. It's we use it less. So the more you journal, the clearer your brain thinks because you're rewiring your brain as you're writing. So it doesn't matter what you write about. It's just the thought of writing. What you had, who you met, thoughts, ideas, whatever it is, just write them out on paper. Personal growth is the last one. So we have aliveness, connections, meaningful pursuit, having that vision no matter what. My mom always had pouring into her kids. She had, I don't even know how many great grandkids. Greg, I'm one of 6. So we all believed in populating the world. So there was a lot of kids. And so when she left us here, she was surrounded by all 6 of her kids. And so that's a special time to really spend around. She would pour into the kids, always talking to us, always asking questions about the grandkids, always wanting to know what's going on. Pictures, we got her pictures that she could see so she could connect with the grandkids that were out of town, because we tend to be spread out a little bit more than we used to. So I just want to leave you with this, because I want to be respectful of y'all's time, and I appreciate you coming tonight, because you could have just, podcast Pete, what the heck, he's just a podcaster. No, but thanks for coming. Personal growth, keep growing, keep learning. We have a course for you on learning, and we want to keep you actively thinking, growing, learning, connecting, being in community, checking up on each other. So important. If I haven't seen Bobby in a little bit, Hey, I haven't seen you in a couple of days. Are you doing all right? Check on each other. Always check on each other. We tried to do it at Overture where we would buddy up a little bit. Didn't by floors, didn't really work, but you can do it together. Because if you're in breakfast, dinner, and you don't see somebody for a couple of days, give them a call. Check up on them. See how they're doing. Because together we're better. Together we're better, and we're better in community. So my last gift is men are from Mars, women are from Venus. How many agree with that? Yeah. Yeah, us guys are we Mars or Venus? I never know that. But George and I, we'll talk about football. We'll talk about stuff. He's got great stories too. Girls have deeper conversations. They just do. Don't they? Guys, what you think? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm amazed because I'll be at church and they'll come up and go, man, I like your earrings. Where'd you get them? Oh, they mean so much, and they start talking about, hey, what do you feel like when you wear those earrings? And how's the kid? I mean, it's like goes deep in a cool conversation. I'm going, man, I need to do better on that because, it's just so good that our women have that great way of connecting. They're more social. Yes. No. I'm real. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Wow, that's so good. Yeah. Yeah. That is so good. And being interested in that makes him feel better. Yeah. Yes. That's awesome. That is awesome. So I'm trying to think of one more question. George, do you have a question that we could ask? Okay. All right. You sure? I have a lot of questions. I could tell you a story. George told me this story. I won't tell. But when somebody tells you a funny story and you think of it again, I have been laughing every time. And it's just, we got to have fun and we got to laugh. We got to enjoy ourselves. And when you hang out with people like George, you have fun. So, there was a friend of mine said, bring the joy. Like when you come into the room, bring the joy. It makes a difference. The room lights up because you light up. And so, when we're just around, it's like, there's not a time I don't laugh because he could be a stand-up comedian. And you want to be around people that make you laugh and just have fun, enjoy. So, yes, that is so good. And that's our last winner of the physical prize. That is so good. Okay. And then you can always take the book after you read it and put it in your library so others can enjoy it because there's always good things. I mean, people write these books. They spend years and years researching them, getting them out. And we have them sometimes in our library and we don't even know how powerful those books can be. But yes, that is such a great point. Keep your sense of humor, have fun, talk to people, laugh, joy, have just, we're only here on this earth. We're not here that long. So we might as well make the best of every single day. I'll close you with this. I didn't always think this way, but when I almost passed away after my stroke, I didn't think about call 911. It didn't dawn on me. So I lost about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, which when you're having a stroke, you don't want to do that. You want to call 911. So it gave me a perspective that I always am using today is I want to live every single day like it's my last. And I approach that every single day like it's my last because one day I'm going to be right. But until then, I'm going to have a fun time. I'm going to enjoy being around people. I'm going to have a sense of humor, and I'm going to just have fun. And so thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I'm usually winding down and going to bed now. So thanks for because people say, Pete, what time you go to bed? 8:30. What? Yes, I do. So I'm just an early to bed, early to rise. And so thank you. You gave me a lot of energy. You gave me a lot of fun to come and share with y'all. So thank you so much. I'm going to give you all a gift. Oops, can you turn now? Okay. Yeah. So each person gets a gift. You just have to have Melissa or Erica